Chelsea. I'm practice success manager at Patient Plan Direct. And tonight I'm joined by my lovely client Patricia, who is a business manager of Aspire Smiles. Um, Tonight we're going to have a bit of a conversational piece about how having dental plans in your practice can transform the practice. My specialty is new plan launches, and that's where Patricia's practice started just over 3 years ago now,
Yeah.
and also came on board with us at Patient Plan Direct and directly with myself. So we're going to chat through what their experience has been, how their objectives have changed over the years, in terms of what the practice is looking to do now for the future. So yeah, we'll just dive right in and see where we go. So first off, thank you for joining me, Patricia. It's always lovely to catch up,
Mm.
and we always have these great conversations. So I think it was about time for us to get on and do a bit of a webinar, wasn't it? We've always got loads of great ideas. Your practice is great for always bringing stuff to the table. Always fantastic with feedback. So thank you so much for joining me tonight. To start off, then let's start with the beginning. Let's start at the beginning. What originally inspired you to look at dental plans and also bringing them into the practice?
So, from patient point of view, we wanted to give people great long-term value and create a place they just feel that they belong to. So we were where we are located. It's a real neighborhood. It's a family area. So we wanted to support our community, not just to be the clinic when people go to. We wanted to become the long-term practice. And from the business point of view, we knew that memberships helps build loyalty. So over the time, it gives the clinic a stable income, which means we can keep investing in our team, our patients' care, and the business as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. And personally, I've been to your practice. So when you drive into your practice, you are in the centre of a big brand new build neighbourhood, aren't you?
Yes.
With a care home as well, right on your doorstep. You've got a school down the road. So you
Yes.
really are in the centre of your community there as well. And you do feel that when you come to the practice. Also, you're next door to a lovely coffee shop, so you've got that real nice footfall as well. So yeah, it is a really lovely place where the practice is situated as well for that sort of marketing purpose as well, and
Yes.
that security feel as you mentioned before. And when you initially thought about launching a plan, what was the initial expectation?
That's a great question. So at the beginning, we had some sort of imposter syndrome. So most patients were, of course, new, and we felt like we had to convince them to join our clinic. And I expected the plan would take some time to build a trust, and it would be, let's say, slow process. But looking back, I understand that's normal for new practices, but the dental plans that actually helps a lot. It gives patients a clear reason to stay connected while we keep building the trust. And we also knew we needed like a strong system to make it work. So we've expected to work closely with our plan provider. And for us, any company we partner with needs to feel like more teamwork, collaboration rather than just transaction. And from my very first call with you, I remember so long ago, I had such a great conversation with you. And since then, the customer service was just excellent. And that's why I always recommend, or we recommend actually, you as a dental provider to anyone I talk to.
And it has really been great to see how far the practice has come in them 3 years. I've been down to the practice and I met with you guys and the team, and your team are very invested in plan, which is also amazing to see. Again, they always come with any sort of feedback or questions they've got. They're always really open, which I always think is really important as well when you are launching plans, that
Yeah.
your team are as invested as you are, but also they're open about how they feel and maybe what's quite not working, or if there's something that they feel is something that's suited more to their patients that they see. And your clinicians are also great at doing that. And I know Dan, who runs the practice with you, owns the practice, he's fantastic at also providing that feedback.
Yes, absolutely. Fully agree with you there.
And how did the reality compare when you launched? I know initially, was there any sort of hesitations, and how was it when you did actually launch the plans?
Yeah, so I would say our biggest change was actually our mindset. So we stopped thinking that we had to actually sell the membership. We realized our plans gives a real value and help patients to keep up with the good dental habits. And that's what we focus on, helping patients to look after their health. And
Hmm.
we made sure the whole team understood this message because when the team believes in the plan, the conversation becomes natural, relaxed, and it's not transactional or let's say pushy as well.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's one thing that I find as well when you get in front of like a reception team or somebody who's opening a squat, they sometimes get confused with the conversational piece as a sales aspect. But what we want to be talking about is an option for patients, but we want to make it the best option for them. And that's when we look at plans for individual practices. And as patient plan direct, we don't have a one size fits all, as you know. We look at each individual practice as the standalone, as who they are, what their objectives are, who their patient base are, and we look at the plan details that we would suit that patient base. And that is one thing that I think is really important when you're launching a plan is that it is suited to your practice and
Yeah.
that the price is the right price for your practice, not just, oh, so and so down the road charges this, so we want to charge this, because your patient base have to believe in what you do and you have to believe in what you do. No matter what that price is, we can do some market research for that. We can also have a look at what your pricing structure is. There's sometimes we work directly with accountants as well on getting them numbers right for practices. So all these factors create that message as well of, what plan fits your practice, not just one size fits all. And 3 years later, um, you're 3 years down the line. How quickly has that gone? I could not believe how quick that's gone. But how do you feel it's grown from strength to strength? What do you feel has been the factors of that for you?
Wow, yes, as you said, the time's gone, hey, 3 years later. So, yeah, our membership subscription continued to grow because it's part of our daily systems. So, we've created many processes, and especially to give the team a lot of opportunities to talk to our patients and the benefits of our plans. So, as you mentioned, whether that is at the reception, in the surgery, in our TCO room, or just during a follow-up call. And our aim is really to convert every patient. And it's not just for the numbers, but because we fully believe that membership supports the better long-term care and relationships.
Yeah.
As you just said as well, our plans are just designed to offer real value for different patient groups, and it's both clinically and financially as well. So patients feel the benefits in their like everyday care. And
Yeah.
I would say what's the biggest difference is definitely like our team, or let's say for any team that will join the plan. So everyone is trained and supported to talk, to feel confident. And the main thing is to be clear what actually our memberships offers are. So if it's not in the part of the patient's journey, it simply won't happen. It's not going to work. So, by making your membership as part of your culture and the system, we've not only grow our numbers, but also strengthen the trust and loyalty with our patients.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's one thing I feel is one of the key parts of training the team is
Yeah.
about how plan fits into the patient journey.
Hmm.
And when we train the team, it's that's why we have clinicians involved from the beginning as well. That's why we have TCOs, reception, practice managers. We have everybody involved and invested because it is really important to have everybody believe in the plan, but also that patient has multiple touch points with people throughout the practice journey. prior
Mm.
to coming in, whether that be a phone call, whether that be an email, and then also following that when the patient comes into the practice. And I think for me, that's one of the biggest aspects is following that patient journey and how plan fits into that. It isn't just about having plan, it's about building that rapport with patients and security, but plan fits into that off the back of it.
Yeah.
And I think when you sit down with a team and you look at that patient journey and you build what your ideal patient journey should look like or will look like, and you
Mm.
look at what your ideal patient is, then your plan fits into that when you look at it on what
Yeah.
you want. So yeah, I know that you guys focus a lot on that in terms of what your ideal patient is, what that journey would look like for that ideal patient. And I think that is a big factor when you look at launching plans or you look at opening a squat practice on getting that right from the beginning and
Yeah.
building on that throughout the practice so that your practice becomes like it's second nature when you talk about plan, it's just already built into the team rather
Yeah.
than having to keep, just catching that patient on the way out or trying to capture them in an email. It's captured straight through the practice on that patient journey through conversation, which is still the biggest way to get patients on plan because patients want to speak to people. They want to build that rapport. They want to know exactly what's involved. And that's why Patient Plan Direct always focus on them training sessions as well, making sure that the team are fully confident on that before we let you guys launch in terms of what's on offer. And I know your team as well have had refresher training
Mm.
in terms of that, and I feel like there is a big benefit on doing refresher training, and especially with our squat roadmap that we have and our new plan launch roadmap is making sure that them touch points are done every 3 months. So having the 3 month check-in, then your 6 month light check-in, and then your 9 month momentum check and your 12-month anniversary with us. And then at your 12-month, that's why we do that refresher training and we review objectives to make sure that your objectives are aligned with what our objectives are for your practice as well. And we work together in that partnership to make sure that we achieve that at the end of the year and we put stepping stones and growth strategies in place to make sure that we are focusing on what the end goal is. So
Yeah.
your team have had a great response to plan now, but can you remember what the response was at the beginning and how they felt?
The beginning is always that sort of unsure negativity as well about new things and new ideas. And worry, I would say it was more like people wonder, how will we remember all the details? Or how will we know which plan is right for each patient? And very important is that what you've said, it's you have to listen to your team and then just always try to find the solutions. And this is why we focus on training and repetition every so often, and very, very important creating clear workflows. Because when the team has got clarity, they feel confident, the patient's experience gets better, and then of that, it's the results as well, the conversion and that monthly income just keep rising. So yes.
Yeah, and the team have been great, haven't they, with you guys? I think your team is forever growing as well because your practice is growing. But your team have really gotten on board with that, and especially your clinicians as well, which has been fantastic to see how involved they have been with growing your plan as well. I know when I came down to see the practice and we had the clinicians in front of us and I was asking questions, they were able to answer them like that about plan. And it was a real nice thing to see that the clinicians were just as confident as your front of house who had had training as well. It was just that they just were so invested in making sure that this was part of your practice and their journey in the practice that it just seeped through and it was just amazing to see. So thank you for that. Did you notice a sort of any operational changes in the practice after the plan? Did you feel like you needed to bring any targets in place to encourage the team?
With the targets, well, I would say that your team needs to understand what the memberships really are, why we recommend them, and also to make sure that they believe is best for the patient. So membership, as we said, it should be really the part of your culture. And it's like how we talk every day about it. So we don't necessarily set any strict sales targets, but we do share our stats. We review our KPIs as well. And we just simply talk about where we can improve as a team together. So we've got regular meetings, the huddles, and we just discuss openly about any solutions, how we can improve our communication, how we can improve our follow up. We have like a monthly number that we would like to always, hit, but it's not like we strictly follow just the numbers. It's more about to make sure that whatever we say, we just fully believe in that rather than just to push and sell to the patient, basically.
Yeah, I call that a soft target, which means that there's no repercussions if it doesn't get hit.
No, yeah,
It just means that it's always in the back of people's minds that that's where you'd like it to be as a whole from the practice. And I think we talked a little bit about soft targets, didn't we, when we reviewed where the practice was about if you were in an ideal situation, where would you like the practice to be in terms of practice numbers? And then we work back from that and give what's called a soft target. So we'd say, right, well, for you to get there, then you
yes,
need to be gaining this many a month and then percentage uptake to this XYZ. So it's always great to have them as well because you sort of get online with the objectives of where each practice is at. And everybody's practice is different, everybody's team is different. And it is important that, you have them catch ups with your relationship manager to, review where you're up to, review where you want to be, and make sure that, that everybody is still on the same page in terms of that. And
yes.
as other practice managers or other business owners, we've got some people on this call with us tonight. What advice would you give to them about bringing their teams along for a planned journey?
Very good question. I think summarizing our chat, and we've already mentioned a few times about team culture. I would say your team culture is everything, and we as the managers, we have to lead. So we set the tone, and the reinforce like every single day. So we bring the energy to the practice, to our team, and for our patients. My advice would be to listen carefully, your team, your patients, spot the real obstacles as well, and build solution into your daily routines. And as we just said, the workflows. So we have a workflows essentially for everything. The patient's journey, the calls, the way we just operate. And I think it's very, very important because then at least it gives the team sort of framework to follow. And we as the managers or the practice principal, we should really review that very regularly to make sure it still works. And if it doesn't, what can we do just to make sure that we can get better? And also because of that reason, me as a manager, I created the Caesar framework because managers are often expected to just cope, basically. And the Caesar structure, it gives you essentially a method that if you follow it, you know it's going to work because it stands, as we just said, culture is basically the first. Then you empower your team. So you give them the ownership as well, and you build a simple system they can follow so it's less stressful. And basically, we then have something such as authority. So you lead your team with calm, and then they can trust you and they listen and they know like you can make things together really great. And then at the end of it, we've got the results. So basically, whatever we just mentioned, that should really provide you a good results for that.
Oh, fantastic. That sounds really great. And that's something that you've worked on putting together, isn't it? And you've put your stamp on that and created it to help with other practices as well.
Yes, it is. So it's not like lecture or theory. It's actually built from a real experience.
Yeah.
Try different ways from the start to now, but this essentially just summarize what we do. and what makes us as a team very effective. And it helps not just us, but also essentially our patients and the business that we just can, keep grow together. And yeah, that's just amazing to see.
Yeah, and I know that you have also spoken to some other practice managers I've put you in touch with to give some assistance with them. You know, Arnold at Lancashire Smiles, I know his practice manager
Oh yeah.
had reached out and had said, is there any practice managers I can chat to about, how we could grow our plan even more? And I said straight away, yeah, you need to speak to Patricia at Smile Smiles. They were also squat practice. They've been open, 3 years now, and Arnold's team have just surpassed the first 12 months. And I think for me, that is one of the biggest aspects that I love about Patient Plan Direct as well, is the clients that we have are all always on hand to help each other. So we've built a community where, yourself, you've spoken to Claire, and then I've put Claire in touch with another lady who's opening a squat to speak to her about her helping with opening that. And I know Arnold spoke to another person who's opening a squat off recommendation of having a conversation with him. So it is that sort of leaning on each other as well to give advice and help with that. And I know that Claire will have absolutely loved getting to chat with you and, learning things that she can do differently with her practice and assisting with that. So, yeah, I just want to say a huge thank you for that as well, because it just builds on that community that we've built together over the last few years on
Yeah.
helping other squats. And, the next 12 months, we are going to focus as well on what we can do for squats and how we can assist with that and how we can help new plan launches even more. So delving more into the detail in terms of looking at where we can assist with more than what we've done in the past. We are speaking with Arnold currently as well about doing a new collaborative on what's called the Launchpad, on helping them get systems in place, similar to what you mentioned, to help with that success of launching as well. So that's going to be something that comes in the next few months. But yeah, it's just helping build on that community message of we want to help than just be a plan provider as well. Yeah, our core focus is to make sure that we have that, but we want to make sure it's with the best success, that everybody's got workflows that help with that. As you say, that team culture is a big effect. So it's about just making sure that we've got all that on hand as well to help people. And if there was anything that you could go back and change, maybe, or something you would think, where I would do that slightly different, is there anything?
Yes. So
Okay.
let's say go back when we first started. I think probably most challenges were about our team and consistency as well. So first, as I mentioned before, your team needs to feel confident talking about the plans. And so that's why we're still keeping up with our trainings about the prices and what's included. But yes, I remember in our first month, we obviously we've got our leaflets in here, but we just forgot to mention about membership to severe patients. And as you just said, once they leave, it's really hard to explain to them why they would benefit being on the membership. So this is why, same again, we sat down together as a team. First of all, started from the confidence to make sure that they fully understand why we have membership, and also to believe that you're a great team as well. So you're providing the care, and then people automatically will trust you as well. And then after that, we decided to implement workflows, and the workflows are essentially like every single day that what we do at the moment. And then just reminded us that when we have to mention to our patients about the membership in the right time, and that helped really a lot. And from my experience, tracking progress and celebrating small wins, it really helps the team. So every month we just share our results so everyone knows how we are doing. And we always just like to celebrate small success together. So we review regularly. We have team checks in to make sure there is no sort of misunderstanding and why we're doing as well. We're looking at our data and essential this just making the plan work.
Yeah, absolutely. And 3 years in, what's your next steps in terms of your practice?
Yeah, so that was a good conversation we had. It was last week, no?
Yes.
Yes, it was. So we've managed to set up our targets, essentially for the numbers, but also because where we located as well. And then so few points, yes, to help our community for sure as a number one, because obviously the NHS crisis and as I said, we don't want to be just the clinic that people go to. We have a lot of membership patients that they actually bringing up their families as well. And it's just so great to see, like a little children, especially as well. They're just happy to come, and it's just amazing to see. And as a team, as we said, not strictly to have a KPIs, but I think to have like a number that you try to hit or you just around it, it definitely helps us because at least then we know what can we do to make it better. You know what I mean? And as we just set up last week target, same again. Now we're going to sit down with the team. We just recently had a meeting. It's a New Year sort of recap from 2025, set the goals for 2026, and the membership was actually our first and top goal on our slide. The numbers, but also the community around us as well, for sure.
Great. And just finally from me, I just want to say a huge thank you for you to give your time this evening and everybody else for joining as well. It's been lovely to catch up with you. If
Absolutely.
anybody would like to chat more with Patricia about, Caesar, the workflows that she's building to assist with that, then please do contact us. And also, if you're looking to launch a plan in your squat practice that you're opening or in your practice that you've already got open, then please do reach out to us. You can email me directly on Chelsea, Chelsia, at patientplandirect.co.uk. And I can pass you any details that you need or freeze a booking a discovery call with me. Thank you, everybody, for joining this evening. And again, thank you so much, Patricia, for just being such a lovely client with me. And Aspire Smiles for working so hard with me over the last 3 years. You guys have been an absolute champion practice, and I look forward to working with you long into the future.
Absolutely. I'm very excited as well. Thank you for all your support. Honestly, like you're just amazing, and I'm so happy we worked together from the very first call to now. I mean, hey ho, I'm very proud and grateful as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks for joining this evening, guys. I hope you all enjoyed this quick webinar and chat over how you can transform your practice by launching dental plans.
Thank you,
Good
everyone.
night, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Thank
Bye bye.
you.